Hello everyone, this is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. Welcome to this 30-minute practice. So this theme is, what is this theme? Water, excuse me, I'm sorry, my throat. Water the flowers, not the weeds. So what that really means is that we have this inner landscape, and imagine it filled with plants and trees and grass and all these wonderful things. And then there's weeds, which comes with a garden, right? So we embrace some of the weeds, right? We are not perfect. But we there's a few that we decide we don't want anymore, that is kind of encroaching on the rest of the garden, not allowing the flowers to bloom, not giving it space. So that's what this is about today. So let's sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes and maybe imagine that garden. In that inner landscape, what does it look like in your mind's eye? At this moment, are there more weeds than flowers, plants, trees? Or maybe there aren't, there's less, or about equal. And the weeds in our inner landscape are the negative thoughts, the things that we say to ourselves that really aren't very kind, that lack compassion. The things we complain about in just life in general. So throughout this practice, we start to look at the weeds, but also embrace the flowers, and decide which weed you don't need. Like if you have if you're judging yourself on something, then just pull that one out. Just come back to the flower, to the tree, to the beautiful grass. Let's start to take some nice deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And every time you breathe in and out, but the inhale is nourishing this garden. And let's just stay here seated. Let's do some Sufi circles. Lean forward, take an inhale, circling to the right. And allow your circles to be the pace that works for you. Let's complete that last circle, and then let's lift up tall, crown towards the sky, just like you're a flower yourself or a tree. And then lean forward, take an inhale, and then circle to the left. So just creating that rhythm. That's soothing, calming, but energizing as well. And then let's lift up nice and tall, complete that circle, sit up nice and tall. And then take an inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky, stretch through those arms. And interlace the hands behind your head. Press the head into the hands, opening up the elbows, opening up the chin and the chest. Take a deep breath in and let the elbows angle in towards each other, chin to chest, and let the tummy muscles pull in as well. And then inhale, lift again, and open. Let's do a few sets of these cats and cows. Waking up to this gorgeous garden. It's a spring day, everything's new, fresh. And then lift your head up, that's just in your imagination. And then lift up tall and then reach the arms back up to the sky. Stretch through those fingers. And let the hands float back to your thighs. And let your head drop to the right. Soften the jaw. Breathe in. So your right ear's over that right shoulder, your tall spine. And then inhale, head back up, and then exhale to the left. Let's do this another set. Inhale, lift the head up, then drop to the right. And then inhale, lift up, and drop your head to the left. And then lift the head back up. And this time, look to the right. You could keep the eyes closed, just turn your head. And then inhale back to center, look to your left. This is so nice. Soften the shoulders. I noticed my shoulders are creeping up. Inhale back to center, look to the right. Smile. Inhale back to center, look to the left. And then come back to center. Let's transition onto our hands and knees. Press into your child's pose, finding those Hasta Bandha hands. These are the beauty, our gorgeous hands. The power of these hands, arms. Take a nice, let the breath continuously flow. So you're creating that rhythm. And when you're in a garden, there's a rhythm that's not within our perception. It's the flowers, the plants, the bees, the insects are all working together. It's like a dance going on. And let's inhale, come to all fours. Slide your knees underneath your hips. Take your hands and just spin them out to the side. Oh, am I sniffing a lot? I'm sorry. It's joking. I don't know if I can stop my runny nose today. Spin the fingers out to the side. And let's do some cats and cows. Keep going. Close the eyes. When you reach the end of a cold, things, we know, right? So that's much better. Yeah. So that's keep going. And now come back to stillness, neutral, and turn your fingers towards your knees. And let's do some cats and cows here. So stretching out those wrists. And then turn your fingers forward. Slide your knees slightly back if they're not already. And curl toes under. And then sit on your heels. So we're going to do some stretching out of the toes today. Try and get the baby toe if possible. And then if this is just too much, too painful, to sit on your heels and take a block or a blanket between the heels and your bottom. Otherwise, just sit for a moment and breathe in and out. So it's really getting into the plantar fascia. You can always come out of it and come back in. And then let's come back to all fours, flatten out the tops of the feet. Sit back on your heels with the tops of the feet on the ground. This time walk your hands back behind you, and we're stretching out the tops of the feet. And if this is enough to have the knees down, that's fine. Squeeze the shoulder blades or lift the knees up to get a little bit more of the tops of the feet. And breathe in. And breathe out. Some nice stretching today. And our feet really need it. So a little bit more yin style today. Holding and breathing. And then lower the knees back down if they're up. Come sit on your heels for a moment. Hands on the thighs. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Let's inhale, lift up nice and tall off those heels. Hands reach to the sky, lift up. Stretching as if you are this flower or the plant you choose you want to be today. And then take an inhale, and as you exhale, float the hands to your lower back and lower yourself down, place the right cheek on the floor. So you're in your child's pose or embryo pose, right cheek on the ground, looking to the left. Let's inhale, lift your arms back up, lifting, looking forward, inhale. And then exhale, hands to your lower back, turn your head looking to the right, left cheek on the ground. So some back work here. Inhale, lifting back up, looking forward, stretching. And then exhale, hands on your lower back, lower down, look to the left. One more time, one more side. Inhale, lift up tall, stretch and breathe. And then exhale, hands to your back and look to your right. Left cheek on the ground. And then inhale, lift back up nice and tall. Interlace the hands above the head, spin the palms up. Stretch a little bit higher and lean back, pushing hips forward, lifting heart to sky. Nourishing that inner landscape with your breath and your movement, and then come all the way down into all fours. Let's curl toes under, downward facing dog. Hasta Bandha hands. Getting into those fingers, really concentrating on those hands. The pads of the fingers pressing down, lifting up through those palms, lifting up through the second knuckles. Just stretching and breathing. And from here, maybe walk the hands a little further forward, feet slightly back. Let's inhale, come into plank, but just lower your hips down. So upward dog variation with toes curled under, lift your heart up. And then exhale, lift back up into downward facing dog. Feel free to do this on your knees. We'll do a few more sets. Inhaling forward, pelvis dropping towards the ground, peeling up in that heart. And then exhale, lift back up. Let's do 2 more sets. It's a beautiful way of opening up front of body, back body. Strengthening the arms. And the final one, lower the knees to the ground, press back into that extended child's pose, strong and long arms. Walk them a little further forward. Take a deep breath in and then lift up into all fours. Curl toes under, downward facing dog. No chaturangas today. Let's bring your left foot in towards your right foot. Right leg reaches up behind you. Take an inhale and exhale, knee to nose. Round the spine, and then inhale, reach that right leg back up. Exhale, knee to nose. Rounding the spine. One more time, inhale, lift that right leg back up. This time, exhale, knee to nose. And then step right foot between the hands. Lower the left knee down. That's inhale, arms lift up, lunge. Interlace the hands behind the head. Thumbs pointing, resting on the neck, the back of the neck. Breathing in, lifting the skull up a little bit with those hands. Lean into those hands, opening up the front body. Breathing in and out. Holding and breathing. Let's take an inhale and exhale. Lower the hands to the ground. Curl the back toes under. Step it in a few foot or so and flatten it out. Open the right foot to the right just a little bit. Fold over your legs into your pyramid. Fingers framing the feet or slightly forward. You can even take your fingers, spin them backwards, and walk them so they're in between the legs. So they're framing, they're not in between the legs, but they're further down. So in the middle of the body. Holding and breathing. Feeling the backs of those legs, the calves. I can feel my calf muscles. And then spin the fingertips forward. Step back, downward facing dog. Notice the difference between the legs. Let's do 2 sets of that flow to upward facing dog, either knees up or down. Inhale forward, dipping the hips towards the ground, and exhale, pressing back up. Another set. And then meet back in downward facing dog. And then bring your right foot towards your left foot. Inhale, left leg lifts, 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 lifts. Stretch, and then take an inhale and exhale, knee to nose. Round up like a cat. Then inhale, lift that left leg back behind you. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhaling, reaching back behind you. Inhale, knee to nose, and just pause, and then step left foot between the hands. Lower that right knee down. Inhale, lifting up nice and tall, reaching the arms up to the sky. Interlace the hands behind your head, cradling that skull. Breathing in, just gently draw the head up a little bit with those hands, and then press the head into the hands. Lift your heart upwards, open the elbows. garden, the inner landscape, your inner garden. Pressing and breathing, opening, spreading, stretching. And then take your hands down to the ground, framing that left foot, curling the back toes under, walk that right leg in a foot or so, and open that left foot out to the left just a little bit and fold over that front leg. Decide where your hands go. If you want to spin those fingers towards your back foot and slide them a little closer to your back foot, makes it a little bit more challenging. Blocks are always welcome here. Holding and breathing. So notice where the mind wanders to. Does it start to wander off away from the body, away from the mat? Stay here, stay here. Nourishing this inner landscape, your body. And then rebend your left knee. This time step your right foot forward. You're at the front of your mat. Forward bend. Take a nice little stretch here. Let your head shake no and shake yes, loosening up that neck. And then take an inhale, bend the knees and gently ease yourself up, rolling up vertebra by vertebra until you're standing in your Tadasana. Lifting nice and tall, stretching through those arms. Feel the length of your spine, the length of your body. Exhale, let the hands float to your heart. We're going into our tree, which makes sense for this, right? I'm going to turn around just so you can see me. Take your right foot, place it in the places that work for you. Inside your left thigh, maybe. And then hands in front of your heart. Squeeze those bottom cheeks, gazing towards the ground. And then maybe the arms lift. You're this tree. Stretching and breathing. If you want to go a little further, make this a little bit more challenging. Right arm on the right thigh, palm up. Stretch over towards the right with that left arm. Holding. And then lift your right arm back up if you're in that side bend. Hands to heart. And lower your right foot down. As always, let's do our hips. Just loosening up and loosening up the ankles. And then come back to bring the feet back in, and let's do our left foot inside the right thigh. Hands in front of the heart. Squeeze the bottom cheeks together. Realize we need to do more standing balances because we could lose it like I am. So more this week. And then maybe the arms reach. You kind of lose that core strength, so we have to keep that up. And maybe, just maybe, the left arm, that's a maybe. Left arm on the left thigh, and then stretch over to the left. So we never quite lose it. We just have to just have to get back into it. Our muscles have that memory that will eventually return. And then left arm reaches up if it's on that left thigh. Hands to heart, lower your left foot down. So you might feel your ankle. I felt my right ankle. And then do your thing. Circling those hips, loosening up the shoulders. And then if you move from the front of the mat, come back to the front of the mat. Sweep your arms up to the sky. Let's exhale, forward fold. Let's step back, downward facing dog. Let's lower the knees to the ground. Transition onto that right hip. Spin those legs forward. Let's lower ourselves onto our backs. Coming all the way down. Just do a nice long stretch. Oh. Let's come into happy baby, full happy baby. Hands inside or outside those feet, knees outside your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Push the feet into the hands, hands into the feet, and then draw the feet down. If you'd like to do some rocking from side to side, touching one knee to one side, then the other, or just stay still. And then hug your knees into your chest. Take your knees to the right. Spinal twist. Turn your gaze to the left. A nice gentle practice for Wednesday. And then pick your knees back up, give yourself a hug. And then knees to the left. Right arm stretches out to the right, looking towards that right hand. And then picking your knees back up, give yourself one last hug. And then extend your left foot to the left corner, right to the right. Let yourself settle comfortably into this Shavasana, your rest, the resting state. And feel free to stay a little bit longer or join me in Sukhasana, cross-legged seat. So our inner landscape, our garden, for me, there weren't a lot of weeds this morning. Few poked out. But there are days when there's too many. So use that visualization to help you to pull those weeds out, to notice them as weeds. Things that hinder you, that encroach on the beauty, of your garden, of the flowers that prevent bloom for you to bloom, prevent you from blooming. Thank you so much for joining us for this practice. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. Namaste.